So we would be start from the concept of sinusoidal oscillator of loop gain. So we have seen that in the oscillators we use the positive feedback, and in the amplifiers we use the negative feedback. And when you use the negative feedback, your loop gain is beta A. And when you are using the positive feedback, your loop gain is minus beta A. But the amplitude or magnitude of this loop gain is important here. So in this case, we have to see what happens in the from the next slide when your loop gain amplitude of loop gain value would be varies. So if you can see in this three graphs, in the first graph where you can see that your magnitude of the loop gain A beta is greater than 1, so your sinusoidal signals would be increasing in amplitude with respect to time. Okay, but on the other hand, if mod of A beta is less than 1, then the amplitude of the oscillation would be decreases with respect to time. Means your oscillations will be die out. It is called a damped oscillation actually, and at some certain point it would be nearly zero. And the third and very important case for a sinusoidal oscillator is that your loop gain, amplitude of the loop gain should be equal to 1. And this is the case which is called as sustained oscillation. And at that condition, the amplitude of the sinusoidal oscillations would be remains constant with respect to the time. A condition for it, magnitude of beta A is equal to 1. Sustained oscillation, damped oscillation, and here you can say oscillations would be increasing with respect to time or growing in nature. Okay, so these are the three conditions of the oscillations occurred in the oscillators when value of loop gain would be varied. So from this point we come to know that what is the importance of the loop gain. Now we would be extend this concept, and this is the most important concept of the any oscillator, because all the oscillator would be follow this criterion. This is called the Bark-Hussein criterion. And Bark-Hussein has given the two statements, that is are necessary conditions used for oscillations. So what are these statements if you have to see? So Bark-Hussein criteria calls for two requirements for the loop gain or oscillation. The first one is magnitude of the loop gain must be unity. Means mod of beta A is equal to 1. That we have also seen in the sustained oscillation condition. If this condition would meet, so you would be obtained an oscillation which is having the constant amplitude with respect to the time. So everyone please note down this Bark-Hussein criteria. Second requirement is what? The phase angle of the loop gain must be 0 at the frequency of oscillation. So the phase angle of the loop gain must be 0 at the frequency of oscillation. This is the second statement of Bark-Hussein criteria. Means what? The total phase shift over the feedback network should be equal to 0. If you are using a non-inverting amplifier, so output of the non-inverting amplifier phase shift angle is always a 0. So at that time, you have to be adjust your feedback network in such a way that would be also produce a phase shift 0. In this way, the total phase shift is equal to 0. On the other hand, if you are using inverting amplifier, the phase angle or phase shift offered by the inverting amplifier is 180 degree. So at that moment, you have to be adjust the parameters of your feedback network in such a way that the phase angle offered by this feedback network is again 180 degree. So in this way, total phase shift is 360 degree. That is integral multiple of twice of pi. So these are the two necessary conditions for any positive feedback circuitry to become an oscillator. So everyone please note it down or take the screenshot. Now we would be elaborate the Bark-Husson criteria. The frequency at which sinusoidal oscillator will operate is the frequency for which a total phase shift introduced as a signal proceeds from the input terminal through the amplifier and feedback network and back again to the input is precisely 0 or integral multiple of 2 pi or 2n pi, you can say. N is a integer, 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever the number. Okay. The frequency of the sinusoidal oscillator is determined by the condition that loop gain phase shift is 0. This is very important one. Oscillations would not be sustained if at the oscillator frequency magnitude of the product of the transfer gain of the amplifier and the magnitude of the feedback factor of the feedback network means beta are less than 1. Means beta A, if beta A is less than 1 or greater than 1, oscillation would not be sustained. Only the condition should be, it should be equal to 1. Now we have to be learn as per our syllabus 2 oscillators. First one is phase shift oscillator and second one is Wien bridge. So we have to start with the phase shift oscillator now. Before going to the actual circuit diagram, we have to refer the RC phase shift network. So in the figure 2.49, it is shown as single stage RC phase shift network. So what is RC phase shift network? It is a simple resistor capacitor network that can be used to give a desired phase shift to a signal. The circuit diagram of single stage RC network is shown in this particular slide. You can see here in the input network, capacitor is there, and output, in the output there is a parallel resistor is there, you can see. So in the input and output, what is the phase shift for this RC network? If you have to be see, this is 90 degree. Okay. So theoretically, in a simple RC circuit, the phase shift output voltage would be lead the input voltage by 90 degree. But in practical cases, the phase angle will be something below 90 degrees, just because it is impossible to get purely ideal capacitor. Phase shift of the practical RC network depend upon the value of this capacitor and the resistor and the operating frequency. So in this way, we have to be see that the basic concept of RC network, where output voltage would be lead the input voltage by the angle of 90 degrees. So on the basis of this concept, we would be elaborate the concept of RC phase shift oscillator. Now we would be extend this circuitry from a single stage to 3 stage. But before this, we have to be see the mathematical relationship between the impedance, resistance and capacitance. So if you have to be see there, in that particular RC network, if F be the operating frequency and R be the resistance and C be the capacitance, the capacitive reactance Xc to the frequency F can be given by a reactance that is Xc is equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc. The effective impedance of the circuit can be given by Z is equal to R square plus Xc square. And the phase angle of this RC network would be phi is equal to 10 phi Xc upon R. Okay. So these are the some important formulas that would be come out from this RC network. So here the term reactance is very important because capacitor is a frequency depending term. So Xc is equal to 1 upon 2 pi RC, 2 pi Fc. So here the frequency would be a deciding factor. And overall impedance of this RC network is square root of R square plus Xc square. Now the important term is here for discussion is phase angle or phase shift and the phase difference between the output and input network, that is tan inverse Xc upon R. So for the single stage we have seen that that was the ideally 90 degree but practically less than 90 degree. Now we have to be make a 3-stage RC network, and as per our requirement of the RC phase shift oscillator, we would be adjust the phase shift equal to 180 degrees. So for this purpose, what we have to be do? We have to be adjust 3 RC networks, 3-stage RC network in such a way that each stage would be offer a phase shift of 60 degree, so that overall phase shift of this 3 cascaded RC network would be 180 degree. So here you can see in this particular diagram, this was the one of the RC network, first one from input side, starting from the 0 degree, and it would be generate the 60 degree phase shift. Then the second stage again 60 degree means 120, and the third stage again 60 degree means total 180 degree phase shift would be there. Okay. So in this way, we have seen that when we have cascaded these 3 RC network and adjust the value of resistor and capacitor in such a way that total phase shift would be offered by this is 180 degrees. Why we are doing so? Because when we use this RC network along with the inverting amplifier, we have to be, according to Bark-Husson criteria, we have to be produced total phase shift equal to 360 degrees between input and output to maintain the condition of sustained oscillation. Okay. So here also we have done the same. Now we would be use this concept of RC phase network in our FET or MOSFET based RC phase shift oscillator. So this is the circuit diagram we would be used for MOSFET based RC phase shift oscillator. Here you can see, you can subdivide this circuit in two parts. This is the section that I have encircled with the red ink. This is your amplifier part. This is your amplifier. Okay. And rest of the part is contributing for RC phase shift network, that is a feedback network actually. And this is the output. Here we have to obtain the output in this section, and this is the input section here where we have the input voltage. You can see I have shown. Now this circuitry would be consist of an amplifier and a feedback network. Amplifier stage is a voltage divider biased with the capacitor CS bypass the source resistor RS and a drain biased RD. Okay. So in this way, this is the basic common source amplifier. So we know that a common source amplifier would be offer a phase shift of 180 degree. Okay. Because it is an inverting amplifier. And we have connected as a feedback network a 3-stage cascaded RC network. So what happens in this particular circuitry? Here you can see here you have a sinusoidal signal that is 180 degree phase shifted signal. Okay. And this signal would be fed to the feedback network. Okay. Here, and we have adjusted the R and C in such a way that finally output of the feedback network we would be obtained again 180 degree phase shift. That would be nothing but same as the input signal. So in this way, the total phase shift of this network would be 360 degree. Okay. So everyone please draw this diagram or take the screenshot. Here we are using a MOSFET device, that is our active device and basic device for this circuitry. And we know that in the MOSFET there is a two element of interest, that is GM, transconductance, and RD, that would be contribute to the gain of the amplifier. And we have to be satisfy the Bark-Husson criteria. So one of the criteria we have already satisfied, that total phase shift is equal to 360 degree. Okay. Now second criteria is loop gain should be equal to 1. So how we would obtain, we please see. So from this MOSFET amplifier, the amplifier gain is calculated as A is equal to minus GM RD parallel capital RD, and the magnitude of this gain is Chattar Dipti. Is there any problem? Is there any issue? Okay. Some students are still trying to join this lecture, but I have blocked. I have allowed today 4 or 5 students that has joined late this lecture. This was the second attempt. From tomorrow, I would be not allow those who would be joined after 10 minutes. Okay. So be attentive and attend the lecture seriously. At any time, there is a declaration of the schedule of in-sem examination that is based on the first 2 units. So do not take it lightly. Now, university is organizing the final year examination. Maybe your examination would be also start very soon. And in-sem is based on first 2 units. Okay. So the magnitude of the gain is here GM RD parallel RD. RD, small RD is the output resistance of the MOSFET and a capital RD is the drain resistance. So we shall assume a very good approximation that input impedance of FET amplifier is infinite, and this assumption is valid as long as oscillator operating frequency is low enough so that FET capacitive impedances can be neglected. We know that the input impedance of MOSFET amplifier or FET amplifier is infinite, and this assumption would be valid for our oscillator operating frequency that would be kept low, and in this way we can neglect our MOSFET capacitive impedance. On the opposite hand, or the output network, the output impedance of the amplifier stage is R0, that is RD parallel to small RD, and that would be kept very small compared to the impedances C looking into the feedback network, so that no attenuation due to the loading. Okay. Now, in practice, what we have to do, we know that our voltage gain, magnitude of voltage gain is GM RD parallel capital RD is there, and now we have to see the other side, that is the feedback factor beta. So in practice, these considerations are not always negligible, but the amplifier stage gain is then selected somewhat larger than the needed factor of 29 to assure the oscillation action. In the case of RC phase shift oscillator, either it is made up from the BJT, either it is made up from the FET, JFET, or either it is made up from the MOSFET. You have to maintain your gain of amplifier stage at least 29 or greater than 29, so that our loop gain should be make unity, and to make loop gain beta A unity, we have to adjust the feedback parameter in such a way our beta is equal to 1 upon 29. So in this way, beta is equal to 1, and using this classical network analysis, we find that the operating frequency value would be equal to 1 upon 2 pi RC square root of 6. This R and C is the resistance and capacitance of feedback network. That is not the R and C of the amplifier stage, that is the R and C of the feedback network. In all three cascading stages, we have to keep the R nearly same and C is also same. Okay. So this was the final equation for the frequency of oscillation for RC phase shift oscillator. Okay. I hope all of you have understood this up to this part. Now one more topic is remaining, that is Wien bridge oscillator. So we have to be see here Wien bridge oscillator. So this is the RC network basically used for Wien bridge oscillator. This RC network consists of a series RC and a parallel RC. A series RC is connected to a parallel RC. This is the series RC that is connected to a parallel RC. So here we have applied the input voltage, and on the other hand we have applied the output voltage, obtained output voltage. If you would be see, this circuitry consists of a high pass filter. So this series RC would be high pass filter, and it is connected to a low pass filter section, and we have connected this high pass filter stage and the low pass filter stage in such a way it would be producing a very selective second order frequency dependent band pass filter with the high quality factor Q at the selected frequency FR. That is called the resonant frequency. FR is resonant frequency. Can anyone tell me from your class what do you mean by the high pass filter? Anyone has any idea? I'm not going to the detailed description, but introductory description of this high pass filter from your end. Can anyone tell me? Ankita Gunjal?
Sir,
Okay, she is waiting for.
green this right.
Chauhan Anisha?
सर दिसत नाही.
Yeah? Chauhan Anisha? What do you mean by the high pass filter? What is the role of high pass filter actually? Bole Akshay?
Sir.
Kadlak Tanuja? It is looking like that you have not actively participating in the lecture because no one is answering or no one has at least say yes or no.
Passes signal with high frequency.
Passes only high frequency. That is a high pass filter.
Signal
What is your name?
with
High
high
frequency signal.
Okay. What is your name? What is your name?
Sanab Sushma.
Okay. Good. Very good. So basically, a high pass filter would be only pass the high pass signal, means high frequency signals, and block the low frequency signals. Similarly, the low pass filter would be only pass the low frequency signal and block the high pass signal or high frequency signal. So in this way, what is the band pass? That would be only allow the frequency between the lower cutoff frequency and upper cutoff frequency. Okay. So if you were going to plot the frequency graph for low pass filter, it would be like this. There is some cutoff frequency. Okay. Upper cutoff frequency. It would only allow the low pass signal and block the high pass, high frequency signal. And for the high pass filter, it would be something like this. it would be block the low frequency signal and only pass the high frequency signal. And here it is a FLC, you can say. So bypass filter, band pass filter would be what? It would be allow in between frequency, only up to in between of this border, FLC and FHC in between. So it would only allow a band of frequency only, not the high frequency, not the low frequency. Okay. So it would be, this circuit RC network would be acting as a second order frequency dependent band pass filter of resonant frequency FR. So between these two extremes, low pass filter and high pass filter, the output voltage reaches a maximum value with the frequency at which this happens, called the resonant frequency FR. In the middle of these 2 points, circuit is at its resonant frequency with the two signals are in phase, or that is having the phase difference of 0 degree. Okay, and this is the output gain versus phase shift of this RC network, and that is the resonant frequency formula is given as 1/2 pi capital RC. Okay, so I am just opening the chat box for attendance. You have only 5 minutes or less, so everyone please enter your attendance here. Finally, I would be elaborate the concept of this particular graph is there. So if you have to be see, so here the first graph that would be show the gain versus frequency. So you can see it is a V0 versus F, and this is the resonant frequency actually FR, that is shown by this particular dotted line. So at this resonant frequency your gain would be maximum, and this would be equal to 1/3 of the input voltage and the amplitude side, and this is the maximum gain offered by this RC network. Okay, this band pass network. Similarly, you can see this RC network would be offered a phase shift of 0 degree at the resonant frequency FR. Phase shift is equal to 0 degree. Below this resonant frequency, at the low frequency end, there is a positive advance in the phase, that is 90 degree, up to maximum up to 90 degree. At the high frequency side, there is a delay in the phase shift phase. Okay, that would by the minus 90 degree or negative it is, but at the resonant frequency it would be 0. So it would be follow the Bark-Husson criteria. Okay, now this is the basic formula for the resonant frequency. R is the resistance in ohm and C is the capacitance in farads. So on the basis of this description, you would be elaborate the Wien bridge oscillator. So this is the circuit diagram for the Wien bridge oscillator. So this is a two-stage. Everyone take the screenshot or maybe draw the diagram. That is little bit complex but an important one. So in this Wien bridge oscillator, you can see two similar stage of common source amplifier are used. So you can see the one of the common source amplifier, that is voltage divider network R3 and R4. RD is the drain resistance, RS is the source, and it is bypassed by the CS. Similar stage is here constructed with the help of Q1, R1, R2 are the voltage dividing network, RD is the drain. Here we have not shown the RS and the CS because this is the input section of this Wien bridge oscillator. So in this input section, we have connected the feedback network. That's why I have not shown the RS and CS. Otherwise, it would be contribute again another resistor apart from this feedback network. Okay. So that would be disturb the balance of the circuit. Now, from this output end, we have taken a signal that will be fed back, and this would be connected to this RC network. So that is one of the series RC network, R and C. another is the parallel RC, and then the third one is the R, and fourth one is the RS. Okay, so this R is nothing but your RS. This RS is shown here, not here. And this particular bridge circuitry has been be connected to the input of this amplifier stage. So in this way, it would become a Wien bridge oscillator, where we have used the series and parallel RC network. That is a band pass network. So this active element of this particular circuitry is MOSFET. That is, I have the positive voltage gain, because first stage is contribute the negative voltage gain. Second stage is again the negative of the first stage. The total voltage gain would be a positive value. Okay, because it is two stage. And voltage gain would be remains constant for the range of frequencies of operation of this circuitry. So to make a voltage gain positive, we have to use two-stage inverting amplifier. And as we are using a two-stage inverting amplifier, total phase shift is either 0 or 360 degrees. In this way, it would be follow the Bark-Hussein criterion. Now, so here R1 and R2 connected from the gate of the MOSFET to the ground. And this is the voltage divider biasing, and the Wien bridge, which is used for feedback network, is connected between amplifier output and input. And this network would provide a zero phase shift and having the feedback factor of beta is equal to 1/3 at the oscillator frequency or resonant frequency. And the gain of the two-stage amplifier A should be greater than or equal to 3. So in this way, loop gain, magnitude of loop gain beta A is either equal to 1 or greater than 1. And that would be ensured for the sustained oscillation. And the oscillator frequency for the sustained oscillation is F is equal to 1/2 pi RC. Here we have taken R1 and R2 same, equal, and C1 and C2 equal. So this is the final equation of frequency for Wien bridge oscillator. In the next lecture, we would be do some numericals based on this oscillator network and start the new unit. Okay, thank you all of you for attending the lecture. Thanks a lot.